I think Austria is going to go to them, and then Hungary is going to go to me. And then I guess half and half with Galicia. I'll take that. They'll take that. Coming in, France took 19 states, Bulgaria took 23. And Greater Bulgaria is looking even more mighty. Occupy. And occupy. And I cannot now attack Ukraine. Whoops. Because I have no political power left. But that's not to say that we can't form up on their borders. And prepare a little something something. Yeah, the French can invade it through there. So that's going to be one hell of a choke point. Have to do Transylvania separately to Hungary? Really? Ugh. Did that help me with resources at all? Not really. Finland have declared war on Soviet Russia. Oh no, you do still have a border. Yeah, that's Soviet Russia dead then. Is there a way of getting more manpower? No. I can still get 1% more. Because my maximum is 14% mobilized. Actually, it's a good question. What are we sitting on now? Oh, we're only 20% short. So we should have a bit of a surplus after this. Now you need to be responsible for a tiny bit more coastline. You want to have 37 divisions, but there's no way I'm giving you that. Should have started to fabricate before the belief. Start again. Should have started to fabricate before the peace. Yes, I should have. Two. Grab you two, and then cataphract you. And then there are just 1, 4, 6 out of the 24 which are not equipped with tanks yet. That's pretty good. Free trade policy is done, which is going to screw my purchasing even further. Though it hasn't actually had as much of an impact as I thought it would. By empowering the private sector, we can take a burden of payment off the government, which will allow for an expanded budget and increased efficiency with various economic institutions. So we lose efficiency growth, but we gain efficiency base. And I'm going to upgrade the fighters. Is France at war with the Ukraine? Yes. But the Ukraine has a lot of troops here. Actually, so does France, to be fair. I don't think that Ukraine did very much during the German war. Oh! The German government in exile is at war with the Egyptians. Cairo Pact. Right, because the Entente is. So there's a huge war raging for Africa right now. It's the Paradox War again. All you need now is a Greek blockade and it'll be complete. Let's speed 5 this again because we need to just recover our political power before we can go any further. And now, how is France doing in terms of like manpower and stuff? They're still only on extensive, crikey. So's the Union of Britain. That sneak attack against Germany was just crippling. Unfortunately, that means that I think a lot of the German minor states are also going to have a lot of manpower still. So manpower is going to be my issue. You know what, I'm going to cancel privatization so that I can get political power faster. What did you just research? Ah! Okay, so we've just finished our mass assault doctrine. That's completely done. And it is... 43 is when we can get the next tank, so not doing that. Those are 42, so not doing those yet. Don't really need the fuel supplies. That's a 42. I guess artillery then. How long have I played this mod? Probably about 1,000 hours. Looked at the weather report here for the next week. We can have 0 Celsius. Winter is coming. Today it was 27. Crikey! That's a hell of a change. Can reduce the amount of tank destroyers I have, just increase the amount of heavy tanks. Although it is very interesting that you only need 20 tank destroyers for a battalion rather than the full 40 that they heavy tank do. 40 heavy tanks versus 20 heavy tank destroyers. You could definitely use those earlier than I'd realised. Which is probably why people keep saying, why don't you use heavy tank destroyers, Mordred? Because I didn't realise that. AUS declared war on the PSA. The CSA is not dead yet. Don't do that. You're going to let them resurrect themselves because they've still got a ton of manpower. Although both Chicago and Detroit are dead. Let's just take a look to see how dead. They're still halfway. No, that's a terrible decision. Finish them off, please. Okay, so how much political power do I need to justify? $100. Oh no. 30. No, 25. Oh, cheap. What's the easiest nation to play in this game? On this mod, the easiest nation? Russia, probably. I would highly recommend if you start playing this mod, play it as Germany the first time around. Which is like the opposite advice that I usually give for vanilla Hearts of Iron. I'm assuming that you're familiar with Hearts of Iron. If you're not familiar with Hearts of Iron, go play one game with Italy, then do Kaiserreich. If you are familiar with Hearts of Iron, play as Germany in Kaiserreich. Because that will introduce you to the whole setting, it'll explain what Black Monday is, that type of thing. Then you can start playing as the other factions, like the Communion of France or Russia. But I would strongly suggest you play as Germany the first time through. France declared war on Spain. That's going to give the Ukraine a bit of a breathing space. Muscat has capitulated. Concentrated Industry 4. Nice. Britain, as you can defend your island if things bodge up. Not true. Britain doesn't have access to oil. Which is a big freaking problem if you're fairly new, because you can't just have your ships out all the time. You have to make very clever use of strike forces. That is about the 4th time that Muscat has capitulated, yes. Alright, so how long is this justification? 125 days! Well, that's definitely going to give me time to fully armor up in that case. So let's set that up. And then we can start to switch out the cavalry forces to Varangians. Although that will require 121,000 manpower, 4,000 infantry, which we have, artillery, which we mostly have. That's a lot of heavy tanks. Let's switch over just 2 of them to Varangians right now. Aircraft. And what else do we want to research? Start getting some radar. We're going to need some extra bonuses when fighting the French in the skies. And now we can start working on privatization again as well. That's fine. The fall of Moscow. Today, Russian forces broke through the siege lines in the capital in multiple places and converged upon the Kremlin. Am I going to continue this on stream 2 or maybe switch to Old World Boys? Old World Blues. Maybe as a Royo. I'll probably continue this. The only reason you're going to be very, very happy with me is I started playing New Vegas today. So I can finally say I know what Good Springs is. I know who the Legion are. I know vaguely who the NCR are. But I need to play a lot more before I can actually go, ah, that's how everything works. Okay, so we are now 400 heavy tanks short. We don't need any more heavy tank destroyers, so I'm just going to leave them down to just 5. And we're going to put all of the emphasis on the heavy tank production now. We have 61 factories producing heavy tanks at this moment. 61! We have another 0.2 manpower or so to gain. And then we are tapped out again. Be relying very much on non-core manpower, which is not good. And also just the manpower over time. 2,000 a month. Can I keep my losses down below 2,000 a month when fighting against the Third Internationale? That's going to be the challenge. When's the Internationale going to kill me? I don't think they have a focus against us, so I'm not sure they will. Privatization's complete. A stable and united Bulgaria. Except I think I want to get the police crackdown, then do this. In which case, let's do the Bulgarian Air Force. It is paramount that we turn our gaze towards the expansion and maintenance of our Air Force, especially considering the rapid changes being made to aerial warfare, and the great importance being placed upon the possession of a proper Air Force. So when is the CB against you done? 4th of January 42, which is almost exactly a year after we destroyed... Oh, we got our justification on Austria. Could I disband some of the Air Force to get manpower back? Possibly. A better idea would be disbanding my garrison forces for manpower. There's a fair amount tied up in this. But I feel like when I'm at war with the Union of Britain, I'm gonna want my coastline guarded. Is there a template which is going to be more efficient, like militia maybe? Nope. Militia is just more efficient in terms of infantry equipment, which I have no shortage of. I mean, the other thing I could do is start puppeting and releasing people and using their manpower instead of my own. But that should be a last-ditch solution. Lowering their size, maybe. I mean, they're already combat with 8. I don't particularly want to do more than that. Russia needs to have beaten the Soviets for me to do this. I mean, I do have a plus 40% monthly population growth from my agricultural subsidization. It's just everything else. Wow, that's a lot of infrastructure that needs repairing. Supply isn't a problem right now, though, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Probably. I think I want to get another Air Force up. Fighters. I mean, the other thing I could do over time is slowly but surely phase out the cataphract forces for Varangian forces. Which use 5,000 manpower less. And a whole lot more heavy tanks. Could go and exercise these guys. Well, they're going to get experience fast enough. When we're at war. Nah, I'm not going to bother. It'll be fine. So how many troops has the Ukraine lost now? They have 125,000 soldiers. I mean, what I could do is puppet the Ukraine if I take them fast enough. And then use their manpower. Well, the Ukraine in general is just a highly populated area, so just as non-core population, I'll probably still have a bunch. American Civil War is still ongoing, yes. Really want to see them kill off the CSA. I feel like they got a little bit unlucky in how that was going. I mean, the problem is the PSA probably running out of manpower. Oh. Okay, never mind. PSA not running out of manpower. So yeah, they may well win this. In which case, PSA join the Entente alongside Germany. Germany is in the Entente right now. So we might well see a fight back against the Third Internationale from the Entente nations. Although they did lose India, but they could still get that back. And Russia is still a wild card. We have some more heavy tanks. So let's turn one of you into a heavy tank unit. Making 9 heavy tanks a day, and we're still not at full efficiency. Got another 35% efficiency still to go. Not too shabby. Fall of Gibraltar. Reports from Gibraltar confirm that the fortress has been captured by the Communist forces. There's fighter 2s. Coming of France took 22 states. The Kingdom of Spain has been capitulated. Aircraft is done. Still 1941, albeit right at the end. I think I'm going to get the mechanized for the upgraded motorized, if I ever decide to use them. And we can also start upgrading the fighters. Does Bulgaria have a good heavy tank designer? Nope. The main thing that Bulgaria has is oodles and oodles and oodles of chromium. Step away for a couple of hours and you've essentially remade the Ottoman Empire, only Slavic this time. Yep, pretty much. I mean, we're even using Varangian and Cataphract forces right now. Support weapon 3s. December. We're going to hold off and then we can get the 42 guns as soon as January rolls around. So what are you waiting for? Heavy tanks. And just all of your equipment. And you know what? I'm gonna turn you all into Varangians right now. You can all be low on equipment. But at least now you'll have the manpower coming in and you'll be able to start training. It's just the heavy tanks you'll be short on. How long till I have my claim? Early January, so a month. I think it's actually a month now. 7th. Libya. Interesting. Now they're fighting against the Portuguese. Entente slowly but surely losing territory. Fall of Lisbon. So how many troops do the PSA have? Lots. Actually, all of them do. Let's focus on destroyer construction. Destroyers are both just durable and maneuverable ships that are used to defend the main vessels, convoys and battle groups. We should look at creating more of them. And I have a decision, which is going to be the police crackdown, so I can get some more of that stability. You know what? I'm going to pull you guys off the front. I don't want you dying accidentally. Hopefully Ukraine will not hold out long. I have a sneaking suspicion that they won't. And I think we are going to run out of manpower again. How many hours do I have playing Hearts of Iron for? Like 1,200 or something? Let me just double check. Is it bad? I dislike manual justification. I only justify against countries via focuses. Buchan, I am exactly the same. I'm only doing this because I've already finished the Bulgarian focus tree. Hearts of Iron have 1,232 hours. Portugal's capitulated. After the Battle of Claydon, I can't see the Bulgarians being keen on Byzantine stuff. 15,000 Bulgarian prisoners were blinded after that and sent back to Sardinia. Yeah, I can believe that. Fall of Petrograd. Russian Republic to 29 states. Soviet Russia has been annexed. Hail. It's about time. January 4th. Close. So close. 1st of January, so let's sort out the technologies. It is 42, so I'm going to get the advanced artillery. I'm going to get the research. Guns. And field hospitals. Second. Third. Fourth. Okay, so you have a go and use makeshift bridges. Everything lights up green. Ukraine's already lost 300,000 men. Not to me, I admit. Although I've already killed 100,000. Like the first 2 days, 100,000 Ukrainians have died to Bulgarians. Goodbye, Ukraine. Yeah, exactly. Like these divisions, now I've actually got them out in good numbers, are utterly insane. I do need to find another source of iron, though. Well, actually, the Ukraine has a bunch. So does Venice. So does South Africa. And Prussia.